way of the
I'll be
puck there.
fine.
Yeah, my fault. Let's stay in the Metro and talk about easily the biggest surprise in the division. That's the Columbus Blue Jackets, because let's face it, Bobrovsky, Panarin, Duchesne, Dzingel. This is a team we talked about. God, we used the phrase all in a million times last year because that's what they did at the deadline. And then they get their first win in a playoff series. But then after that, it's over. These guys all leave, and I think we sort of forgot about them.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea was that there's no way they're going to make it. How is Columbus doing what they're doing this year?
A lot of it has to do with John Tortorella behind the bench. And you mentioned all those players. What do they all have in common? They're all superstar, skilled, talented players. To me, when I think of Tortorella and I think of Columbus, it's Foligno, it's Boone Jenner, right? It's that size, that speed, a workman-like attitude. Dubinsky's another one. That kind of fits the mold to John Tortorella's team. When I think of Panarin, Duchesne, Anthony Duclair was there a year ago. Look what he's doing in Ottawa now. For some reason, they didn't look good in that Columbus jersey the way that that team played. Now, Columbus had a team that I thought could win the Stanley Cup last year. They missed a few chances against the Bruins as the playoffs went on, but I like the way this team is made up. They clearly trust in their coach. They believe in their coach, and it reflects in the way that they play. They smother teams with the body each and every game.
The remarkable thing is Josh Anderson, who I think is one of the top power forwards in the league, has 1 goal this year. He's been injured. He has not played well. He'll probably be moved. Another guy that, if you looked at their team last year, was a major reason why they, matched up so well against Tampa and beat them. Atkinson was hurt for an extended period of time. But you look at their goal totals, it's almost embarrassing. I mean, they're winning by committee, and they're all taking great pride in finding ways to win as a team. That's what makes them so likable. What makes them good is they've got a great blue line, and Seth Jones is a phenomenal player. One of the most lopsided trades that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Ryan Johansson has not worked out in Nashville. Had a good season there and did well in a playoff run, but has not lived up to that. Seth Jones just keeps on getting better. So you have to give Jarmo Kekalainen a lot of credit. And he was very confident. Mike Milbury was telling me he talked to him in the offseason, and he mentioned to Mike, he said, look, we've drafted well. We have a lot of good young players coming. We're not that concerned about losing the players that we're going to lose. We felt like we had a chance to win it. We went for it, but we're not that far back. And I kind of shrugged it off when Mike was telling me that before the season, thinking, how could they possibly be in the mix, especially in such a difficult division? So give the draft a lot of credit and their scouting staff and their general manager. But I do agree with Sharpie. John Tortorella's put on a clinic this year behind the bench.
I think you'd have to say at this point he's the clear front runner for Coach of the Year. Did they have to make the playoffs, in your mind, for him to win Coach of the Year?
I would think so, yeah. Traditionally, those individual awards at the end of the year always go, generally speaking, to teams that make the playoffs.
Yeah.
MVPs, Coach of the Year, all that stuff
I
matters.
just wonder if they're like a point back, if they're in that chase, if he's still right there. I think it's still possible, but I understand there are a couple of other guys right there with
you could make a case, so I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
And all the guys you mentioned signed multi-year, multi-million-dollar contracts. So you lost superstar talents, or at least players that are being paid like that. And Panarin is a superstar. We see what he's doing with the Rangers. Bobrovsky's starting to get his game. It's starting to round into form there as well. And Matt Duchesne has played as a star in the league for a long time. So these are legitimate star players. And even Anthony Duclair, who you mentioned, Sharpie, was at the All-Star game this year, and looks like his game is really rounded into form. And he credits John Tortorella with kind of helping him develop into a better player, even though it didn't work out for the two of them there. So I think we do have to consider John Tortorella, even if Columbus misses the playoffs, as being the Coach of the Year.
Sullivan there as well?
Yeah, there's a few options. I think Pittsburgh with Sullivan's got to be one for sure, just with the injuries that they have. I know there's a couple Hall of Famers in that lineup, but we went through it at the top of the podcast. They've been out for a ton of time. They keep plugging players in, and they've got a chance to win the division, so he'd come to mind.
Out west?
Berube's done a good job there again without Tarasenko. I mean, that's leading at the All-Star break. They were the top team there, and I don't think that many of us expected that to happen, especially with their superstar being out of the lineup. So I think he would be in that conversation. Travis Green is one that really stands out to me, what he's done in Vancouver. The Canucks are a very fun team to watch, but they're a young team, and he has managed a lot of young star talent, including Quinn Hughes on the back end, who's done an outstanding job. And that unique style of play is not easy to coach. So give Travis Green for letting him be a creative player.
Bednar in Colorado, similar makeup
he's good
personnel-wise as Vancouver, if you really want to draw a comparison. high flyers on the back end, Hughes and McCarr, superstar talent up front, McKinnon and Pettersson. This Pettersson's awesome player. He's so smart with the puck. Reminds me of a Pavel Datsyuk, the way he's thinking it one step ahead of other guys. Simple play like entering the zone on a power play breakout. The pass is to you and we enter the zone. Well, he fakes that pass, gets the defenseman to bite. Now he gets to walk into the zone. Little things like that add up. You want him with the puck on his stick at all times. He's one of the most fun players to watch in all the league.
Yeah, and I think with St. Louis struggling just a bit recently, it opens the door for Colorado. Colorado could win that division. Who knows? It could be a Coach of the Year award right there. It could be an MVP award on that team as well.